Welcome, everyone. A few things before we get started. Just want to let everyone know again that we are on Spotify, Google, iTunes, and this is on YouTube where you probably might be watching it. So if you like the content, go give us a review on one of those platforms. It'll help people find us a bit more. So that would be really helpful. And yeah, let's get into our weekly perspective. It's a show where we talk to interesting people about interesting board games. I'm your host, Ryan Lieris, and I got my co-host, Keegan Cole.
Hello.
Hey, Keegan. And then our special guest this week is Dan from, and I just realized the thing did not save properly, but Dan from Steeped Games. I'll have to fix that in post.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Dan. So I have from a credible source that you really hate tea. Is this true?
I didn't know much about tea till the last few years, but truth be told, I am drinking some right now. So becoming more of a tea expert.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pressure is on us for sure to become better at that.
And I asked that because, well, Keegan is my source. He's making up rumors about you.
This is news to me.
Must be a coffee guy.
But yeah, Dan here is the creator of Chai High Tea, and their new game, which when this episode drops it'll be the last week of their Kickstarter, Chai Tea for Two. So yeah, Dan, let's actually start to get to know you as a board gamer, kind of, before we kind of grill you on what it's like to have a Kickstarter.
Sure.
Tell us, what was the first board game you and your partner played together?
Yeah, well, I guess that's an awkward question because one of the first dates that Connie, my wife now, we're expecting a kid in the fall. Really excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was like, in order to like have a good feel for how she likes games, I'm going to take her to the chess club.
Okay.
So I think it was like our third date. I took her to the White Spot. Okay. So not an amazing dinner place, but still, you get your burger and fries. And then I was like, okay, well, it's the Christmas party at the chess club. They've actually invited me to play 30 people at the same time. And I would love if you come with me. So she was like, okay, I don't know anything about chess, but let's do it. Yeah, so I played a lot of chess growing up, a lot of tournaments and whatnot. And yeah, so I'm a Canadian National Master. I don't play a whole lot anymore, but it's been a lot of fun. So I brought her to the club and she paired up with a couple other masters and just whooped me. I offered a draw. I was winning at some point, but she's so competitive. She was like, no, we're the last game out of the 30 to finish. Like, I decline your offer, which is kind of, it's a little bit insulting, like to a higher player, but everyone thought it was hilarious. And obviously she won their hearts over as well. So
That's great.
That was the first game we played.
Right. Okay. So out of the two of you, who usually wins at games when you're playing?
Yeah. I probably win a little bit more, but if we play the same game multiple times, she starts to get a really good meta.
Yeah. And
I'm trying like new things as a designer too. And yeah, she can come out on top for sure.
Nice. So what games in your collection right now would you consider never letting them leave your collection?
Right. Well, I guess chess for starters. Probably Concordia. That's my top game the last few years. Just like super elegant. We have all the expansions, upgraded components. We use the Stonemeyer bits.
Okay.
Yeah, we just really like how the complexity is built into your hand. Of if I play the one colonist card, I have 5 movement points across the whole empire, and how am I going to do that? Or you're trying to like daisy chain things together.
Yeah.
So you go to the merchant before doing something, and yeah, I think having elegance but a lot of complexity is like a really important thing for us. So there'd be that game. Connie and I really like Imhotep.
Okay.
By Phil Walker, the same guy who made Sushi Go and a bunch of other eclectic games. I think he's making a party game too as of last week. So
oh, cool.
He's a personal favorite. Probably Scythe for components, depending who we play with. We like Golden Rights. So yeah, we're Omni gamers.
Sure. I don't know what, like, somehow Scythe is always brought up on, and it's just like Keegan's just.
I'm not a Scythe fan.
He's not a Scythe fan, and it's just it's funny because it's the one game that just constantly everyone keeps bringing up. It's so great because Max and I like it, and like I have the huge big box and a whole bunch of upgrades. Yeah. And, but.
I think I didn't know about your chess background, Dan, before this, and that got me really interested now. So I want to ask a chess-related question to you. Do you have any favorite like chess-themed media, like a favorite show or movie, or maybe like a book about chess?
Yeah. Basically, I guess I'm good enough to know that I suck compared to the pros. So actually, I have a lot of friends who stream. So all the major streamers on Twitch, like I've kind of grown up with them, played games, gone to tournaments with them. So they're kind of my main media just to stay connected as friends. But there's a lot of good YouTube channels now. Growing up, even in junior high, I would take like a dozen books out of the library and research like different openings and famous collections of grandmasters. So but all of us chess players, we use a database called ChessBase.
Okay.
So it has millions of games in it. And when you go to a tournament, you'll play like a 5-hour game every day for a week. So you'll look up your opponent, their last 50 games, see how they play. It's kind of like tennis, right? Like, do they have a strong forehand or a really good backhand with some spin on it? How do they serve? So you're trying to understand your opponent and their preferences. So
that's cool.
Sounds kind of nerdy, but I guess a chess database is the preferred media.
That's pretty awesome, though. I'm not super deep into chess in the chess world, so that's something really cool. I didn't know.
No worries. Yeah,
that's awesome.
A few days ago, I was in another podcast and we actually did a blindfold game. So the other two guys, they're playing on their phone and they would just like say the moves to me. So like it's kind of ingrained as a language as you study it, and then over time you get like better and better. So
yeah, that's awesome.
When did you start doing chess?
I guess like every kid, it's the most famous game of the world, or popular, because on average people play it once a year. So when I was like 5, my grandpa taught me and my dad. Started playing Risk. So a lot of tears over like him invading North America and having to put away the pieces, or Monopoly, that sort of thing. But I never discovered Catan or Carcassonne until like just after high school. I was in Germany actually for a year, and one of the guys who made Carcassonne, he drove me home from a chess tournament. I was playing a bunch of people, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I played that the other day. Like, whatever," and had no idea that like this is a thing.
Yeah.
Till many years later. So super excited to discover modern board games in like the last 5 years.
Okay, so it's pretty recent that you've gotten into it. Okay.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Then okay, so what was then that like modern gateway game for you?
Sure. So we played like Catan, Carcassonne, Apples to Apples randomly, and then I was in humanitarian aid for 5 years. So right during the Syrian refugee crisis, I was coming back from Iraq and stopped through Toronto at my uncle's place, and Connie was there too. So we were about to head back home, and he's like, "Hey, I have this game called Puerto Rico. Do you want to try it? You guys like chess, but this is a new thing." I'm like, I don't know, a bunch of farming, not really interested. But we tried it, and I was like, this is amazing. Can we play it again? So we played it back to back. Had to catch our flight, but we have a thing kind of like Craigslist called Kijiji in Canada. So we ordered like 30 used games the next day and just like went all in. Like we're that kind of people that if you have a hobby, you just dive in. So
then that's probably like one of the like 0 to 100 I've ever seen in a board game, right? It's kind of like, I know for me it was just kind of like I started with a few and then it just like grew incrementally, but and then really rapidly, but it like you just went 0 to 100. You're like, nope, this is it, doing it. Everything, give it to me now.
This is my stick. There's no chess rating. Like I can play a game for fun and not care about like databases. So we have local meetups. That month I went to our local like Safeway, and in the basement, I played Lords of Waterdeep. And I was like, this is amazing. This is what a worker placement is.
Yeah.
Like, give me more, right?
Yeah.
I think that even had the expansion with it.
Okay.
So like, I was just like consuming new games, probably 2-3 games a week. Played Seven Wonders Duel right after with the organizers. So it's kind of cool how, you know, we help each other discover new things. And just over like trading different games and whatnot. We have a great used market here in town. We had like 100 games after like 6 months. So
dang. Oh my goodness.
That's part of the hobby too, right? So it's a lot of fun.
I mean, that's great to hear that you guys have such a community, because in Chicago we do too. We've talked to some other people that like they don't have such like as big of an community that it sounds like you do. We do, where they can just simply like, hey, go meet up, or like an actual active board game trading group, either on Facebook or wherever it is that you might have it. And so that's pretty awesome that you have that too. And seeing that where else in the world that you got like these pockets of just like communities doing these just board gaming.
Yeah, and I guess the pandemic has made it where we now play online and create community there, whether it's online conventions or Discord or Board Game Arena, different apps. So I'm playing my brother-in-law Terraforming Mars right now with the app. And he's only played like 3 other games, but that's like an intersect of his interest with science and some games. So it's a great way to bring people together.
Yeah, for sure.
That's something, a big one too, for someone that's 3 games in.
Right?
But nice. And then so you said like so you have all the components for what did you say?
Scythe, Concordia.
Yes, thank you, Concordia. I gotta add, because I'm a huge board game upgrade person. I did with a couple other people. We did like a whole month of just board game upgrades on Instagram. And we just did like a huge challenge and got to like see a whole bunch of people's upgrades, and they were really cool.
Awesome.
What's your most upgraded game?
Well, I know Keegan doesn't like Scythe, but I'd have to say that one because I'm a terrible painter. I used to put together like World War I planes as a kid. Yeah. And I was like, Dad, look at this, you know, the Red Baron. It's so awesome. He's like, I don't know, son, you should repaint that thing. And I was like, oh, dang. Yeah, that's true. It's really crappy. So, and no, he's really positive, but we had a friend paint all of our miniatures for Scythe, like,
nice,
you know, triple layered and shadows, and there's even like grass on the base and stuff. So
that's cool.
I guess I'm forced to like it. Still not a huge fan of like how it ends instantly, because if you play 7 players and you're like the 6th or 7th player, there's no way you're gonna, you know, come out on top. But there's like so many cool components for it, and that's kind of like our basis of we just want to make pretty games as well. Like obviously they should play well, but like make games that look nice. Yeah.
So at what stage then did you realize that you wanted to start just designing games?
Yeah, I guess there's always the model, there's a game in every gamer. So whether like, we'll ask that at conventions all the time, and people are like, I have this great idea for a deck builder. You're like, okay, put it on cue cards. Like, just get going with it. People want to see it. As a kid, you know, reading The Hobbit, kind of made like a little Hobbit game, or playing Civilization 2000 on an old Mac. Like, let's make a big version like Axis and Allies. So there's always been like the hankering to be creative, from like playing piano. My mom's a piano teacher, and we're just encouraged to kind of do that sort of thing. So it wasn't until I stopped playing tournament chess that it was like, hey, we got 100 games. Why not try to create something too?
Sure.
All the mechanics, we kind of use them and borrow them throughout history. Every game is kind of an abstract when you distill it into like its essence or pulp. So you just got to pick a theme and run with it. Because I liked Scythe, hate to bring it up again. I was trying to make a submarine game with Connie that has like 3 layered subs in water, so it can like go to the bottom and be like 3D space, and you have a little sub board where you can like release rovers and collect minerals, and there's like a central world that you have to go to on an island and fulfill contracts and get people for your ship. And I went to a board game design conference, not knowing anything. And it went okay. But I realized that there's no way I'm going to make a miniature game straight up. Like, this would be like $130 product. And back then, like, Scythe had just come out. This was like 2016, 2017. So on the way home, I was like, what other theme could we do? I was like, well, tea's popular. People like tea. And like, it brings people together. Second most popular beverage. Started researching with another friend, like, what goes into tea? Like, what are the most famous things? So jasmine, mint, lemon, berries, lavender. And then you have pantry items like honey, milk, sugar, chai spices. So it became a recipe completion game. We had the idea in March and then released it on Kickstarter on December of that year. So we put together a quick print and play and then posted it everywhere and was like, hey, join our little community. Here's a Google Doc list. We'll have giveaways and your name will be in the box. And we had a good 1,000 people try it out before the Kickstarter. So we had no expectations, but our local news outlet, they're like, local couple gambles away life savings to make a tea board game. And we were like,
that's the that heading.
It was not totally accurate, but we did give up like all of the date nights and bought a 3D printer, and we made 50 copies to send to like everybody.
Dang. Okay.
Great way to upgrade your games, by the way. Get a 3D printer.
Right behind me. Yep, I got my 3D printer. Hey. I also bought another one that's like twice the size, but I'm about to move, so I haven't like taken it out yet. I'm excited to, but it's so much fun.
Awesome.
I was gonna say, like, you bringing up, like, if you distill every game down, every game's an abstract. We've chatted with Jerome Demare a few times. He's the designer of Fujikoro, and we were asking him a bit about his design process too, and that made me think of something he said, where it doesn't matter how your game, the end result of your game really only matters if your game functions basically as an Excel sheet first, where in a way the Excel is like the most abstract you can get. The game is just formulas in your cells, and you're like, step by step, this is how it gets to this.
Right. Interesting.
So I think that just like really reinforces that idea that every game is just something abstract, and you put the theme on top to help make everything really click for people. Yeah,
or like Board Game Arena and apps, like they're all using the same programming and borrowing of like, this is a deck. The player takes +3 cards, selects 1, returns 2. Just different variables in that way.
So why, I guess to say, why did you choose, I mean, maybe an obvious question, but kind of decided to go Kickstarter rather than maybe pitching to a publisher and doing it that way?
Yeah, it's totally a fair question. In town, we have Roxley, the guys behind, Brass and Santorini. We even have a soccer league called Rox League every Tuesday night. So it's like you're playing soccer and then you're talking board games on the side.
That's pretty great.
That's awesome.
I have really bad asthma, so it's awesome. We're just like a bunch of nerds kicking a ball around. And so they helped me with my original prototype because they want their games tested as well. Like, there's a really cool play testing every Monday night at one of the local board game shops. And the one guy, Paul, was saying it takes like 2 to 3 years for a traditional publisher to take your game after you pitched it, and then they want to tweak it. They might like rip the theme out completely. Everyone's in charge of artwork and the whole shebang, right? So I was just moving away, transitioning out of humanitarian aid. And I was like, well, that was kind of my job, doing marketing and graphic design, designing even like booklets and pamphlets, all that kind of material. So it's like, well, we can try it. Why not? Like, what's the worst that could happen? So we made our own art for the prototype, which upset some people because when we released the real art, they're like, well, we liked the clean version earlier. Like, I'm not going to back your game unless it has the original art. And we're like, actually, ours was crap, but we're welcome to keep the play testing prototype, right? So, we just kind of ran with it. On the side, we picked up wedding photography and did that for a few years. So, like, we could do product shots, all these different, like, intangibles that come along with board game stuff. Like, yeah, managing the Excel documents, figuring out formulas, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought, let's just try to learn it. But if I'm completely honest, we didn't actually get any quotes from the factory before we released the campaign. We're like, this game kind of looks like a $59 game. We think we can make it for that. So we were totally green. Like we had no idea what we were doing. And in some areas, like we did very well. So it's been a learning adventure. And as you guys know, the board game publishing world and gamers, we all help each other quite a bit. It's the adage, like the more ships in the water raises the water. So there's no competition unless your game is called Mars Terraforming, and then you're making Terraforming Mars. Like there's really no overlap.
Yeah.
People have like different interests, and there's like a dozen Tea games now. So like we're all buddies too. So.
So I guess what would you say is some of like the biggest lessons you've learned from that first Kickstarter?
Yeah. Well, I guess we're in the third one now. I would probably say like taking care of yourself. Cause like we kind of go all in, and you can like have a lot of regret of, hey, if I sleep, I won't get to reply back to those 20 messages, and that's going to cost us like $500 in pledges. And yeah, like at the end of the day, we're just making a game, and like most of us are adults. Like it's a game. This is not going to like, you know, be revolutionary. It's not. We're selling food online, and we need to get back because this family needs their milk and groceries. So yeah, like just taking care of yourself is a big thing as a board game publisher. So we're starting to make like food in advance of Kickstarters instead of like ordering out all the time, or making sure that things are planned in advance instead of everything's at the start, you launch it, and then you have no idea what to do. So the first campaign we had like 40 stretch goals, and we were like making it up as we go. So that was not the best idea. Okay. Especially not knowing manufacturing costs in advance.
Right. Dang. Okay. So yeah, big advice. Have it a lot more planned out when you go for your first Kickstarter. You don't need to rush into getting a campaign started. Yeah.
Whether it's starting that campaign or like figuring out stuff, no one's going to be like, well, sorry, you have to do it now. Like you can launch it 2 months later.
What aspect do you think is probably like the most difficult to, I guess, we'll just start there. The most difficult aspect of like the actual like Kickstarter campaign and.
Right. Probably like staying true to your vision, but allowing other people to share what they think about the game. Yeah, even the most recent one, someone was like, hey, I love the game. I'm fully supportive of you canceling your campaign and launching it 3 months from now when you make it a 4-player game. I encourage you to do that. And we're ready like a week in. Yeah. Like, thank you so much. Like that's a valid opinion, and we'd love to make our 2-player game maybe have like an expansion, or we can have a fan-based print-off version or whatnot. But like we've already spent 2 years developing the product. We to add another couple of players simply into the game like does it a disservice, but we appreciate the feedback sort of thing. So yeah, like making sure people are heard and that we do it together while like we still have our ideas, but we're totally open to changing it. So stretch goals are a cool way of like, hey, we have a card coming out. What kind of card should be in the game? Should we have like a captain per card? Or maybe the Queen of England, like who's your favorite tea kind of person? Yeah. And we'll try to make it happen. So yeah, if people like say one thing more than the other, then like that's really good feedback to have.
Interesting. And I guess how many different, I guess, manufacturers did you have to like try to go through before you were able to like figure out maybe who's the best, and maybe how you actually found that for people maybe wanting to start a Kickstarter campaign? Totally.
A lot of the manufacturers are listed inside the box or the rule book. So if you find a game that you really like, maybe Sight or Concordia, you can, just check out even on the publisher website. Sometimes on BGG it has that information. There are like the top 5 to 10 that do most of the games, but For us, because we were so small, we tried to find one that was really good at communication, because we had heard some stories of, like, if you're really small, the big guys won't always take care of you after the initial onboarding. So yeah, we had one factory that was like messaging us on Facebook even. And in China, you have to jump over the Great Firewall to do that. So
Yeah.
yeah, they're like so passionate about our game and wanting to make the cups really nice, and take like a lot of care with it. And I guess we're kind of perfectionists. So we're like, okay, this is the person that's gonna, help us do things right. And we tried delivering at Essen for our campaign. We promised there would be free pickup, and they were able to, properly do an airmail of 400 copies and get it rush ordered. And yeah, so just partnering with someone who really cares about your game and wants to bring it to life, I think is important, regardless of the price, because most of the factories, they do it for the same, or you can negotiate based on like the thickness of the card or the box, what have you.
All good. Suggestions or just advice, I should say.
Sure, yeah. Are you making a game as well, or?
Keegan and I kind of have had some ideas, and we've been working on them. I've done a little an early play test with Jerome as we were just kind of talking through it. I had originally started a game that I had ended up developing quite a bit of it just on paper, and the three of us, Keegan, Max, and I, we went up to do a play test in our cabin one weekend. And we started doing it, and we started playing it, and just like immediately we're like, oh, this is not at all playing how I thought it was. And I was like, oh, damn it. Like, I have to go back to the drawing board because this is just not working how I had written it down. And I was like, big lesson learned was just like, work from your main, I guess, concept, main mechanic, and see if it's working, and then build off from it. Don't try to like do too much before even testing it.
Or like paying for art, just straight up. One designer came by and to our little playtesting group, and he's like, hey everyone, here's a game I designed. I just had it printed and everything. Would love for you to, buy a copy. Which is a little bit odd, like going to a playtesting group and we're like, hey, let's try the game. Why not? Like, come on over. Like, welcome. We tried it once and we're like, well, we don't think the game actually works. Like, why would you want to do the main action if like that helps all your opponents? And he literally didn't have an answer. So if he had come like 3 months earlier, we would, just be able to change it. But he had spent $4,000 or $5,000 on art, already had bought 500 copies and was like selling it in his garage and online. So like having early feedback is the best feedback. Or if you're playing a game and you're like, this is a 2-hour playtest for this big Euro, and 2 minutes in it just sucks, like it's okay to, okay, time out, let's just stop this altogether. Like you're saving time by being efficient.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, Keegan.
I noticed that our local game store up here, they're starting to sell blank components, like blank cards and blank like hex tiles and blank boards that are just, I can't remember what the company name is, but it's just like prototype building materials. And I think it just goes back to the idea of like, if your game works as an abstract, you can put the theme on top and it's going to be even better. So like you said, spending so much money on art before people actually have had a chance to play it and like critique it is right. I mean, it's one of those things like we just get so excited about games. Like if it's our own, let alone a new game coming out, we just want it right away just to look at it and feel the pieces and set it up. But if you're making a commitment to designing something, don't go all in like you might buying a game because you might regret it later. Totally.
It's cart before the horse. Like it's actually finding that publishing a game is more about logistics and managing a schedule. We have one project that has 15 artists on it, and it's like every couple weeks, hey, how are you doing? How are you doing? Managing like relationships and shipments of products and taxes and all these things. And at the end of the day, we just wanted to, play more games as publishers, but it's more of a business for sure. So choosing whether to self-publish or find a partner to publish, like that's a really good choose your own adventure decision at the start.
Yeah, and I think a big thing that you kind of learn as you maybe designing your first game is like not to be too attached to that initial idea, because it's going to change. Like you're going to play test. There's going to be things that don't work, and you just need to realize, like, listen to the feedback and realize, like, don't be like like I really need this, this theme, this certain mechanic to work this way. Don't try to like force it to work. Like realize it's going to be malleable and yeah.
Senfung Lim, he's a designer in Canada. He's made a couple dozen games. He says, don't be afraid to kill your lemmings. So like your sweetest part of the game, like it actually might be the part that's holding you back. And it's not a deck builder. It's pick up and deliver auction game or something crazy, right? And but if it's your first game, like just harness that passion and run with it, because like you never forget that kind of energy moving forward. Like now that we're figuring out things and like, hey, let's start looking at our 4th and 5th and 6th game, you start playing like a 2-year window and it becomes more like a job. Whereas the first game is like, everything is awesome, right? Like let's just, you're willing to do anything. So yeah, just keep pushing out of that for sure.
Yeah. So are you guys going to be, well, I guess your Kickstarter will be ending right at the beginning of June, but are you going to be able to have it to come to, say, Gen Con?
Yeah. We have fulfillment slated for February 2022. Just because, especially as we're fulfilling the last campaign, there's some delays, and we just want to make sure that we don't overpromise. Start to like underpromise and then like deliver early. So we have like 3-4 months of buffer for this one. Sure. Ideally, it would be awesome to have it like show up at Gen Con and to rock it there. But that would be the dream. As an optimist, it's probably going to be Christmas, and that's earlier than expected anyways. But we're saying February, so it'll be February.
Okay. Well, are you guys going to be at Gen Con this year?
Yeah, I actually just booked our hotel today.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, we got the discount code, and I think it was like 1,700 American for 5 nights. Okay. At like one of the adjacent hotels, so it was a pretty penny. But we're we're excited to go as first time vendors. So we have a small 5x2 booth. Okay. And like we went 2 years ago. We did a road trip from Canada. We drove the 40 hours or whatever, and it was awesome. So
40 hour. That's a nice road trip and commitment to. Yeah. I mean, I love Gen Con. Very glad that we get to go again this year. It's like my first year was 2019. So then I was like, I was there for 2 days, and I was like, most of my time was spent on the exhibit floor, just because there's so much there that you can spend that much time. And I was like, I only got to play test 1 game, and I was like, God, no, this year I'm going 4 days. I'm definitely spending days testing games, and just playing them. And so we just booked our Airbnb, and so. We're super excited, trying to figure out what we kind of want to do for the channel, like during the convention. But
I'm excited just to go. This is my first con. Well, my first board game con, at least. Yeah.
Wow.
So
it's like the North American Essen.
I'm super excited for it. But knowing that you guys have a booth, we're definitely gonna have to come by the booth and say hi, like officially in person. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll give you some swag. Actually, you guys kind of have a booth if you sign up with First Exposure. It's the playtesting hall, and they'll give you like 8 hours of time to playtest with people. I think it's like $50 or $100. It was like really good value for us, and they make sure that you have the maximum number of playtesters that you need for each hour. People just go through kind of like a grocery store. And then you can say, hey, we have our game and kind of our mini booth at table 5 in the First Exposure hall every day, at this time. So then people can find you. Publishers actually reached out to us there because we brought Tea for Two along. And then a guy just showed up and he's like, I represent a French publisher. Like, we're very interested in your game. Like, here's my contact info. And we're like, oh, hey, like, didn't know you were trying to find us. Thank you so much. Right.
That's really cool.
That is cool. Okay. Yeah. So that's just like that's just something like, I guess, publishers like yourself are just, you just sign up. It's just like a, what I guess,
Playtesting hall.
a playtesting hall on their website that you can sign up for.
Yeah, it's called First or Double Exposure. I would
Okay.
just look it up, and it's probably not sold out yet, but yeah, reach out to them.
Is it open, I guess, for anyone that may have a game that's far along enough in playtesting? Or do you?
Yeah, you just have to say you have a game,
Okay.
and you submit the information well in advance, and then they schedule
Yeah.
based on your preferred times. You can go for like 4 playtesting sessions or 8, I think maybe even 12. But some small publishers, they even like took over one table and paid extra to like have people come by later on. And yeah, it's a great way. Other people, they wait 3-4 years to get a booth at Gen Con. So that's the next best thing.
Yeah.
And there's so many people you can just walk around. And like we bumped into Andy Bosley. He was at the Everdale booth.
Okay.
And we're like, hey, it'd be awesome to, you know, love your work. We'd love to one day work with you, right? And now he was an artist on T4 2. He's doing another one of our upcoming games. And yeah, you just start like networking as friends. Yeah. The guy who made a Pandemic, the latest one, he like demoed with us, and now we're Facebook friends.
Nice.
And, you know, like
That's cool.
yeah, we're just all buddies making stuff.
And see, I love that just about the board game community, and kind of like as we start to delve into it with just the social media aspect, like this side of it, and doing a podcast has let us meet quite a lot of designers and social media, I guess, influencers, some people that do, and creating that friendships has been really awesome. And now like I've already been like reaching out to some of the people that have been on the podcast, people that we talk to regularly, and like, oh yeah, you're gonna be there, great. We're gonna all meet up. We're gonna have like, we're gonna do like board game nights after the con. Each night, and it's just like growing from my first time going of just like I'm just there walking around looking at all these games. This is still so new to me, and now it's just like it's been so great. And I guess what was your favorite part when you went for that first time? What did you guys do?
Just connecting with like every exhibitor basically. Like we would walk over to it's not Broken Token. Who does all the other upgradable components? Yeah, you knew it. There you go. MapleSource. So Stonemaier Games doesn't have a booth there, but they partner with MapleSource for most of their upgradable components. And Elizabeth Hargrave was just standing there, and no one was chatting with her. So we like talked for an hour, and Connie's a lady designer as well, and you know, she autographed our copy, and we're friends on Twitter, and she'll like mention us occasionally with Connie, and like those moments are just like you hold on to them when you're feeling discouraged about your design, because she was a first-time designer, right? And came out with a couple of things. I think Tussie Mussy is up right now again on Kickstarter, and we're all just trying to make some games, and like we're human at the end of the day. So every designer is influenced by people playtesting, or art and different things, and so it's just kind of like an intersection of all these worlds coming together. And apart from the new releases, so I think lining up for like the latest Century Spice Road. I think the second or third one was just coming out, so we got the playmat and the Gen Con experience of waiting 2 hours. There's like Black Angel. That was a cool game. We had all of our reviewer friends in Canada. They're like, you're driving back home? Excellent. Let's load up your car with all the games. So we had roughly 250 games in our CRV.
Oh my God.
What?
The seats were down. 5 copies of Black Angel, for example.
Jeez.
It was insane.
200 games, 5 copies of like a game like Black Angel. That's not a small box. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and like you want the air conditioning running well. And, oh my goodness. Yeah, so even getting across the border, they're like, "What do you got back there?" They're like, "We got some board games," and they're like, "Cool, welcome to Canada." It was going to be really hard because we didn't have the receipts, and 80% of the games were donated because they're to reviewers, so we can't like prove the value or anything. But so that was a little stressful, but kind of exciting too. So got to meet some reviewers and hang out with people. Different hotels have bars as well. So
Yeah.
it'll just be like eating a pizza and a ginger beer, and then someone shows up and you're like, hey, did you design that game?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Name's Isaac Gloomhaven. Cool. High five.
Right? Yeah, and so I actually met Elizabeth there too, and her and I had just chatted for a
Cool.
while, and yeah, it's funny because like I think that's kind of like almost it's just like that interaction with her make you realize that like board game designers and stuff are like we may kind of like as regular board gamers may see them as kind of like celebrities almost, but then you just go and talk to them and you're like they're definitely not like any other celebrity in other fields or whatever. You're just like they're normal people, they love doing this and just want to chat with you, and we've realized that a lot with podcasts too. They're just like, yeah, we'll come on and chat, and you're like, yeah, this is it's
It's like refreshing.
yeah, it's like they're celebrities, but also they're not. They're also just regular people that want to come and chat with you, and because we all love board games, and I found that's another reason I just love this industry so much more. That you're like you don't really have too many of those stuck up. Maybe yeah.
Totally, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and a lot of us have like other jobs that we're doing,
Yeah.
so it's like a hobby, passion project, and or people, if they're designers, they don't have to do the publishing part.
Yeah.
So they're like really accessible and open to hearing your ideas, and they have communities on Facebook or Discord kind of thing.
Yeah. So what games have you been playing recently?
Yeah, lots on Railroad Inc. We have some friends. We can't do a normal gaming night, so it's just board game arena or apps. So I guess like Railroad Inc. is always fun. We played.
Is the new ones? Is the new like from the new expansion that just was released? Are they on there?
Which one? The Railroad Inc.
Yeah. Well, are you playing it online?
Yeah, on VGA. I think the red one is with the volcano.
Just the red one is?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, because they like I had just recently there was the whole new like yellow and green edition and
the blue one. Yeah. Yeah, everything's trying to come online, especially with Asmodee buying out VGA. But Abandon All Artichokes, we played that yesterday. Yeah, again, like light to medium stuff is kind of our fare, just because playing Lisboa for 5 hours is like hard to do at 8 p.m. And we're running a campaign too, but yeah, trying to play new games for sure. Probably 1 to 2 a week if we can.
Nice. Yeah, we have...
Shelf of Shame, right?
Yeah, it's our shelf of opportunity.
I was just gonna make that joke. So perfect.
Oh yeah, because I'm with the COVID and everything with us not being able to play with our bigger board game group. We haven't been able to get to the table all of our new games, but we keep buying them at the same rate as we did before. Right. So it's just like my shelf of opportunity is like at 100 games right now that are just sitting waiting, and I try to. We have our dedicated Tuesday nights to play games that we always come together, and trying to just like whittle down the shelf as much as I can. And
yeah, for us it's research business expense, but then you still don't get to it, and like, oh no, not again.
Right? Yeah. One day maybe I can start doing that as a business expense, but
yeah, or Kickstarter, right? Like if you have all these friends, well, now you got to back my game, Ryan, right? And then the next guy comes on the podcast, we got to get that one too. And, soon it's Christmas every week, and your credit card is like, please buy some groceries, and it's not compatible.
Yeah. So okay, so you're light. You guys are more of the lighter midway. You said.
That'd be fair to say. Yeah, just with time commitments and trying to get like 8 people playing games, it's gonna probably be like Welcome to.
Yeah.
Where like someone's playing Century Spice Road, another group might be playing Terraforming Mars. So yeah, just managing that is a huge thing. But I do appreciate a couple of conventions locally where it's just heavy games and they'll have dedicated teachers. That's where like I don't want to be the publisher. Like no one knows me. We're just gonna go and play, and it's like Food Chain Magnet at 8 a.m. and
That's
Gong and Anachrony at 2 p.m. And by the end of the day, your brain's mush, but you got to play games that would have taken you a day to learn. And you get to meet new people. So
Yeah.
You got any suggestions for some newer light mid-weight games that either you've played recently or haven't, or like are sitting there, you're just like, we got to play this soon?
Right. I guess games are starting to get like personal connections. It'll be like, I met Vince from Lucky Duck Games, and he really wanted to look at chai. So I was like, let's do a swap. So we gave him chai, and his family loves it. But he gave us, I think it's Ganymede. It was an earlier game a few years ago.
What is it called?
Ganymede. It's the same company that did Detective.
Okay.
Not the Portal version one, but the other one with the Chronicles of Crime. That's it.
Okay.
With the glasses. So Chronicles is great. Yeah, we were loving like Deception, Hidden Roll, Movement, that kind of game. Nothing really new because of the pandemic, but probably Paris. We're trying to get that going. I think it's on Kickstarter right now.
Oh yeah, for the expansion.
Yeah. So we haven't played the original. It's by Game Brewer. But like connecting with them was great. They offered to be like our fulfillment warehouse out of Paris for a couple other languages. So that one looks really good. I brought up Gula Gong. We bought all the expansions on Kickstarter. So
so did we.
It's kind of like Concordia, and it has really cool swapping moves, and you have really like creative worker placement things. So I can't wait to play that.
Have you not played it yet?
I played the original a few times.
Oh, okay.
Just not the expansions.
Yeah, I think we did a review video of it. We both Keegan and I backed it and did like the full. It was for me. I got the full thing with that huge all the huge purple box that it comes with everything, and
same.
Overall, we think that it actually is a lot better with the expansion. It just it allows for a lot more strategy and like why am I spacing? Like just different routes of strategy that you could take that become all viable. That the base game maybe some didn't work quite as well as others, but it definitely makes a Jade option like an actual strategy that you want to go. So yeah, I would be curious to hear what you think of when you play it.
I'm looking forward to it, and totally with the whole Jade thing and it being like an available resource, but if people notice you taking it, then you're not going to get any more, and very contested areas that will always be contested, and moving boats around. So we love the game. I'm excited to play it. What are some other ones? I guess Everdale. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. Just depends how many players we can get. So excited to get our second vaccine. In Canada, we just had our first. So
I finally am fully vaccinated as of like Tuesday. So we're really excited to get our bigger group together now to finally get to see everybody. We're excited for that.
Awesome.
But Everdell is also another one of my. I think it's like my number 2 favorite game.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely love it. I went and did the newest Kickstarter with the last expansion. Just did everything I could for it, or at least everything that I still needed with the big box and everything. And
really
excited for that one.
Got a year to wait, but hey, anticipation. So
do you have a favorite expansion for it so far?
Probably the first one. Is it Pearlbrook?
Pearlbrook.
Yeah, we just like really cool components, and having a few more places to work with is awesome. I think area control games like Ethnos, that's an underappreciated classic, or Mission Red Planet. Andy Bosley did the art for that. Those kinds of games where the players have to dictate or determine what the value are for the spaces instead of the game telling you what the value is. So as much as I enjoy Everdell, like you can kind of work out strategies and figure out what's going on after 4 or 5 plays, but other games where you have to determine what's going on and like, should I take over this area because the other player is doing something, like that becomes like really fascinating from a design standpoint.
that kind of very similar aspect to it, which a game we just played and I think is just finished Kickstarter for its new expansion, Dominations, Road to Civilization. It has a very interesting. This board is the map or the what is it, Keegan? The city? Is it that? No. We're building up just the area, right?
You mean like the main central part?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're building a map and putting cities down on the map, but you're building the area off of this central piece that's called the cradle of knowledge. And like it's all these triangle pieces that you put together, and if you have them connect and they have matching colors, you get more knowledge to spend to put more things out. So it's like all the same pieces are within the game every game, but the way that the pieces come out and the way that you can attach the colors together really is going to determine what you're going to be buying the whole game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like through the ages, where you hear like you'll see every card every time you play through the ages. So how different can the game be? But the order the cards come out is super important. It's really good.
And it's just like a really trying to see what your opponent and where they're placing their cities, because that too just becomes really important of like where your strategy starts going throughout the game. Yeah.
Cool.
I've been trying to find that one though. I may have to just go to our when our local gaming goat gets the copy. I'm just trying to reserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a French publisher, so it's probably harder to track down on this side of the pond.
Yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot like as far as like our group, like our Facebook groups and stuff selling it. I don't see it really too often. But yeah, it was supposed to be delivered today. Wait, it has been delivered. Oath, if you're familiar with that one, the new one from Cole Worley. He's got the huge box right there.
There you go.
Super excited for that. That's a brand new one that hopefully, like, I guess some people were saying like, because it has such like the same designer and a lot of the similar artwork to Root, that it's just people may have thought it's another Root, but it's more so a PAX game. So hopefully it's not going to get some. Curious to see as people play it that it gets people aren't thinking that it's something else than what it is, or was expecting it.
Really interested in seeing how that slight legacy component has, where it remembers what one of the factions does moving forward. Like, I think. Yeah, I played Distant Plain a little while back, and it was just like this mind-boggling experience, and I wouldn't want it to carry through to the next because there'd be even more rules to figure out. But bringing it down a notch to the Root world, and it looks really neat. So hope you guys have fun.
I think that's probably one of my, like, the thing I had most excited about is like, how it can keep changing, but anyone can just jump in at any time because it's not Legacy-esque where you're losing out if you didn't start from the very beginning.
Right.
Yeah. So you got Chai Tea for 2 is when this is out, it's going to be about a week longer. And how I know you guys have already made your the initial
the goal.
Yeah, the initial goal. How are you seeing some stretch goals coming out for it? What you got, any cool things you think they're gonna hit the goals for?
We just released the last 2. I think we'll hit them in the next few days. Just having like a custom insert for the deluxe. Our first one was white, so it kind of pairs well with all different colors of tea.
Yeah.
It's just been a lot of fun seeing other cards being released. I think there's 8 new goals, or rather cards that will be in the game. So different tea boats, which were racing in the late 1800s, to actually sencha tea that I'm drinking now. So there is that in the game.
Okay.
Just seeing what other people wanted. We completely forgot to put masala chai or spiced chai into the game. So glad people caught that. I really like the UV shine on boxes for the titles, stuff like that. So just the deluxe experience, first player metal coin kind of deal.
Are you for the custom insert? Are you working with game trays? Or are you kind of doing your own?
Yeah, we worked with them for Chai, and then for this one, just because it's a smaller box, like it fits on top of Patchwork and Seven Wonders Duel.
Okay.
It's like twice or 3 times thicker because of all the stuff in it. But yeah, we're just working with a local designer for that one.
A local designer. Okay, very nice. So yeah.
And it's tea tints. So that was cool.
That is pretty cool. Yeah. I do remember seeing that. That was really cool.
I'm not sure if I have any, but it's the same factory that does the Starbucks tins for like their Christmas catalog. Okay. So that was fun. And we have 12 dice trays. So these fancy things that are made from a furniture shop. It's like full leather, complete board gamer colors and whatnot. So that should have been a separate campaign altogether. It was really fun making it.
Yeah. I was going to ask about, I guess, your philosophy on I guess, sending out review copies. I know, like, what game was it? That the new Root, the new Root one. They sent it out to a bunch of like smaller reviewers, and it, like, I thought that was really cool that they want to like help, almost like lift up other voices and stuff.
Totally.
Yeah. Did you guys do anything like that?
Yeah. So we're a smaller publisher, but our factory's been really good to us. Normally it would be probably 200 to 400 American for one review copy if you just ordered it straight up.
Dang. Okay.
So it starts adding up significantly for the factory just to like boot up their massive machines to print one deck of cards.
Yeah.
And we requested 50 copies, which is quite a lot for like just a simple campaign. And our factory was like, hey, Dan, Connie, it's pretty much the same price to do 100 copies. Yeah. Can you like throw us a few $100 more and we'll give you 100? We're like, okay, sure. But we only had 50 reviewers lined up. Yeah. And we had like 3 weeks before the campaign. So we posted in a Facebook reviewer group, a few thousand people, and within 3 hours we got like 200 requests. So we sent out 50 copies that afternoon to anyone who had like submitted their address properly, because we're like, hey, email us here, tell us a bit about yourself, and give us an address. And so we got it out and made like crazy amount of new friends, and different podcasts or like things on Instagram for giveaways. And one person even did like a little opera based on the game for a minute.
That's great.
Another person did a rap. Like it was just a lot of cool things, or like a tea party. Just like super creative. So we totally believe in like supporting other small publishers, small reviewers. It's not always about your follower count. We would say it's more about your engagement. So you can buy followers too, right? Like you can notice a lot of the big names. Maybe it's been padded a bit, who knows? But for someone who has 1,500 followers on Instagram and they get like 20 plus comments on every post, that's massive. Like that's usually of a caliber of like 8,000 followers or more. So just happy to partner with whoever is passionate about promoting games. And it does cost a lot for a reviewer to actually review something or preview something, because it's their time learning the game, it's playing the game, hopefully multiple times, shooting some pictures or video content and then editing it and then putting it up online. So just, we're really thankful for everyone that's helped us with that. And that cost goes both ways, but we had an awesome factory who even airmailed it directly from China. So it was super cool.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I like when I want to be able to promote publishers and stuff like you guys who do want to help and support some of the, other voices, and not just like you see all like the reviews from very specific, like all the very big ones, and they're like, that's the only people that they sent review copies to. And it was like, it's very clear that it's just like, they're not interested in the whole like the full community and getting more people involved and engaged with it. Glad
sending it to everyone's really important. Like Shut Up and Sit Down played it on Tuesday actually on Twitch, and so that's where I learned Concordia from 3 years ago. I was like, I gotta get this game, right? Because Quinns loves it. So you find out that like I've met Tom Vassell a few times, and they're human as well. So it's such a niche industry given like all the other products out there. So I'm not sure like what we'll do going forward, but we'll probably try to do at least like 3-4 dozen. 100 was probably too much, just like doing emails and messages. But
I'm sure, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, great. We really appreciate having you on.
Yeah, likewise.
We've kind of already talked a little bit about some of your stuff and your upcoming, your ongoing Kickstarter here. But is there anything else you want to let people know about? Plug?
Not really. Yeah, we're just having fun making games, trying to do like 2 to 3 new games a year.
Okay.
We just signed a really big deal with a famous designer. So we'll announce that probably in like a month-ish.
Okay.
We're just trying to like figure out how to scale up basically, because we've had some awesome campaigns, but Connie's a full-time teacher. We have a friend helping with some emails, but how do you like make this machine run like a good engine in a board game? So just thanks for everyone listening, and make sure to like and follow Ryan and Keegan. And
thanks.
We have a little chai community as well that you can check out, or we're starting to stream on Twitch too, so you can come play chess against me.
Follow their Instagram account. The Instagram, you guys have great content on there. I loved watching the videos of you guys putting together the Lux boxes.
All right.
Oh yeah, we have a laser cutter. Another passion project.
That's like my next big buy that I'm just trying to save up for, is a laser printer. Mostly because like for upgrades and I want to try to do really cool organizers. But that's a big fun that I'm trying to go towards. But I love seeing your content there. Everyone check out Steeped Games. Where else, if they want to find like updates that, you say you're going to be talking about the designer that you partner with, where's the best place that they can find
probably
that?
just our website, steepgames.com, and that'll be a Kickstarter for Q1 of next year. But we'll have like 9 months of a lot of like slow fun releases for it. We're on like, I guess, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter.
Oh, you doing Facebook, TikTok?
Discord. We're just starting to try it. But
we've done a couple of videos. We've done 2 ridiculous videos that are just meant to be. We'll just say anyone that wants to go check it out, just be warned. It's ridiculous. I started doing some unboxing, but we do have some funny videos up there.
Nice. Yeah, keep being creative. There's enough unboxing going on.
Thank you. And thanks for everyone for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, everybody.